Welcome back to Local Living. I'm Anna Christina. Varna International Music Academy announced its 2023 Muzika schedule. VIMA is based in Columbia, South Carolina, and produces programs around the world. And the world premiere symphonic program is debuting in Columbia and Augusta. I had the opportunity to speak to Jack Redford, the Emmy-nominated composer, arranger, and conductor, about the upcoming show. Take a look.
Mr. Redford, thank you so much for joining us.
Pleasure. Glad to be here.
So excited to read and hear about your background. And I think that's where I want to start, because you've done some pretty cool things in your past and continue to do it. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Well, I conducted The Little Mermaid, and
Oh my gosh.
wrote scores for The Trip to Bountiful and the underscore for Newsies and some Mighty Ducks movies. And I've also orchestrated and conducted for other composers. Worked with James Horner for about 18 years, worked on Avatar 1, and work with Thomas Newman regularly, and have worked on Bond films with him. And so I've had a long and varied career.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That is so incredible. And listen, I wasn't really nervous at the beginning of the interview, but now I feel like you said Little Mermaid. I've read all the other things you've done, but Little Mermaid is my favorite growing up. And so I think that is so cool. I had no idea, but it's so incredible that you're bringing that work to the Miller Theater in Augusta. You're debuting a symphonic program. Tell us about what we can expect when you come to Augusta.
Well, there are 3 pieces on the program. There's a brand new fanfare that I just finished. I sent it off on Saturday.
Wow.
There's a cantata that I wrote in 2017 called Homing. And then there's a symphony, my second symphony. It's the second symphony. It's called A Plague Journal. It's sort of a diary of the musical thoughts that occurred to me during the pandemic.
Wow. And so that's so cool how you're able to express that through music. And it's neat, you hear a lot about writing and composing, but where do you draw that inspiration? I know that you said, obviously, it's like a journal through the pandemic. Tell me about that as a writer, though, or as a composer.
Yeah, it's not really a description of the pandemic, but it's kind of, well, it started with a sort of a daydream or a vision. I kind of saw a piece being played in a concert hall. I heard the music for about, a minute or so. And after that, I kind of puzzled around with myself, just trying to figure out, well, what kind of a piece is this? And transcribed it, put it down on paper, started to play with it. And soon I realized it was going to be a symphony. It had that sort of scope. And once that happened, I also realized that some of the events of the time, the pandemic, were starting to creep into the music. But the title of the piece, A Plague Journal, followed the music. It didn't drive the music. That's the important thing, because the music came first. And then I titled it that because it was written during the pandemic.
Yeah,
so I'm really hoping the music will be consoling and inspiring and challenging, and it really covers a wide range of emotions. That second symphony has a lot of material in it.
Oh, and I love how music can take you through a journey and a story and an experience and make it come to life. And so that's pretty incredible. That you are also going to be in Columbia, South Carolina, June 23rd, I believe, and then in Augusta at the Miller Theater, because Columbia is not too far away. So there's 2 options there to hear what you've put together. And so you guys can get tickets on varnainternational.com. And then, of course, I had to ask you about your experiences. I know that you've also done Spider-Man. You helped Adele as well orchestrate and arrange Skyfall, which is an amazing song. Tell me about some of those experiences and what's your favorite?
I don't really have favorites because every experience is so different. But with Adele, I'm not sure how much experience she had with an orchestra before that night when we were recording. But she was so moved by the experience of being enveloped, in the midst of 100 people playing their instruments and all coming together to accompany her song. When I walked into the recording booth after that first take, she had tears in her eyes. It was a wonderful experience to see her respond so open-heartedly to what she had heard and to my work, so it was really exciting.
Well, I can imagine there will be some people with tears in their eyes when they come and visit and listen to everything that you've put together with this Symphony No. 2. So Thank you so much, Mr. Redford, for taking the time to speak to us. And again, if you want tickets, you can visit varnainternational.com. We appreciate you taking the time to speak to us.
Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
For more information about how you can get tickets or sponsor the event, please visit www.varnainternational.com.